Welcome into the 35th annual NBA Draft Lottery. We are indeed in Chicago, where the legend of Michael Jordan still looms over all, where this year's top prospect, Zion Williamson, is generating the type of hype usually reserved only for the elite. Teams from around the league are here in the building, and oh boy, we've got fans around the country waiting nervously to see whose name they're going to be screaming for the next few years. Guys, I mentioned Zion right off the top because the expression winning the lottery is just so super appropriate here. We haven't seen this much anticipation over a player entering the NBA since LeBron was drafted. And gee, I don't know, what did LeBron do? Change the course of a franchise, also changed a whole city, earning Cleveland its first major pro sports championship in more than 50 years. So that's part of what's so huge, right, with Zion, that possibility of what he could bring. But it's also that unlike any other year in lottery history, we can't even say there's a favorite team to get him. This year, 3 teams all have an equal number of ping pong balls in the hopper.
And Zion Williamson may not be the best player we've ever seen, but we've never seen anybody like Zion Williamson on a basketball court. His athleticism and his explosiveness is literally off the charts. I mean, he outjumped the vertical leap device when he got to Duke. And look at that block shot he had on DeAndre Hunter of Virginia. Came from the other side of the court. He's a great passer. He's got a really high basketball IQ, and he's excellent on the defensive end. He can guard multiple positions. He gets 2.5 steals a game, takes it the other way. An excellent shot blocker, rim protector, and a guy that is relentless on the offensive glass. His explosion is truly unbelievable. His second jump is better than the first jump of a lot of great athletes. We've never seen anything like this guy on a basketball floor. He is truly jaw-dropping in his ability. And he is a great teammate, but at number one, he's the captivating holy grail that everybody's going to want, and anybody would take number one. But he's not the only outstanding player in this draft. Ja Morant, I think, will go number 2 from Murray State. He led the nation in assists. He is a Russell Westbrook clone, so dynamic in the open court and going to the basket. Then R.J. Barrett, last summer, he was the presumptive number 1 pick out of Canada, led the ACC in scoring, played every minute with Zion Williamson. And then number 4 on my best available list is DeAndre Hunter from Virginia. He can guard all 5 positions, long, athletic. And I've got Coby White from North Carolina, the 6'5" point guard, outstanding scorer, at 3 30-point games for Roy Williams. But you could have Jarrett Culver from Texas Tech in that spot. There are a number of different guys after the top 3 that could go in the top 10. I mean, it's that wide open of a draft.
You got him in the top 5 because of his hair.
So you're darn right. I'm jealous.
I agree.
That'll do it for you. There are so many fun players who are about to come into the league. And Jay, you mentioned Ja Morant.
Yeah, Ja Morant was the most exciting player in college basketball, not named Zion Williamson. He's dynamic in the open court with head at the rim bounce, an elite change of speeds, impossible to guard in space. But what I love about Ja is his basketball IQ. He has an unbelievable feel for the game. He makes others better in transition, in the half court. He can make every ball screen read, whether it's finding the roll man or hitting the shooter in the corner. Reminds me a little bit of Trae Young in terms of his passing style. So while it's the dunks and the athletic plays that really draw you in, I think it's his basketball mind combined with those athletic attributes that makes him the number 2 prospect in this year's draft.
A quick look at the percentages of the teams with the best chances to win tonight. We have the Knicks, the Suns, the Cavs, 14% odds for that number 1 pick. Your hometown Chicago Bulls, 12.5% odds for that number 1 pick. The other teams could hop up in the lottery, and hey, it's like any lottery. If you don't play, you can't win. And here we go. This is NBA Executive Vice President and Chief Security Officer Jerome Pickett. When you see him, you know it has gotten serious. And in fact, he is escorting the only man in this ballroom who knows the results of the draft lottery, Darrington Hobson from the accounting firm of Ernst & Young, delivering these sealed envelopes to the table right now. So the time has come, Zion. Take a deep breath. We've got NBA Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum coming to the stage, who will reveal the lottery picks of the 2019 NBA Draft.
Thank you very much, Rachel, and good luck, everyone. Pick number 14 will be made by the Boston Celtics.
All right, this was originally Sacramento's pick, but it goes to Boston. If the pick had been number 1 overall, would have been Philadelphia, but Celtics, you've got it.
The 13th pick belongs to the Miami Heat. Picking 12th will be the Charlotte Hornets. The 11th pick in the draft will go to the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Wow, that means the Los Angeles Lakers have moved up. Kyle Kuzma's lucky jacket worked.
And it gives the Lakers a chance to get another asset to go after Anthony Davis in a trade.
Wow, this is going to get interesting.
Pick number 10 will be made by the Atlanta Hawks.
All right, so the pick goes to Atlanta due to the Luka Doncic Trae Young trade at last year's draft. Had the pick gone into the top 4, would have stayed with Dallas, but sorry, Cynthia, we got to give the pick up to Jamie Gertz.
The 9th pick goes to the Washington Wizards.
Wow, all right, this means the Grizzlies moved up. We have a double jump, Woj.
And this was the flattening of the lottery odds. We were going to see more action like this.
The 8th pick will be made by the Atlanta Hawks.
That means that New Orleans has moved up. We have chaos here, people. Absolute chaos. Dave, you're supposed to look more excited, David Griffin.
The 7th pick belongs to the Chicago Bulls.
Wow. So we know where Chicago will be drafting now. All right, that means the Lakers, Grizzlies, and Pelicans have moved up. 2 more to go.
Wow.
Pick number 6 goes to the Phoenix Suns.
So the Phoenix Suns have dropped out of the top of the lottery.
The idea, too, of New Orleans up that high, David Griffin's looking for someone to play with Anthony Davis, not to move him out.
1 more.
And the 5th pick will be made by the Cleveland Cavaliers.
So the Cleveland Cavaliers have been hoping for their 4th number 1 pick in 9 years. They won't be getting there, but it does mean that the New York Knicks, Patrick Ewing, you're moving on to the next round. We are down to the final 4. Let's bring in Commissioner Mark Tatum to seal this man's fate up here.
Thanks again, Rachel. The 4th pick in the 2019 NBA Draft goes to the Los Angeles Lakers. The 3rd pick goes to the New York Knicks. The 2nd pick will be made by the Memphis Grizzlies, and that means that the number 1 pick in the 2019 NBA Draft goes to the New Orleans Pelicans.
Wow. All right, barring a trade, New Orleans will pick 1st overall for just the 2nd time in franchise history. New Orleans selected Anthony Davis with the top pick back in 2012. Davis asked for a trade, but I don't know, guys. Now Zion Williamson might be coming to town. Look how happy David Griffin looks. Our Maria Taylor is standing by.
Zion, all eyes were on you several times. You looked a little nervous while you were sitting down. How do you feel right now?
Still nervous. I don't know why. I'm just still nervous. Maybe because, yeah, like you said, all eyes were on me. And I think it's a lot to take in because I don't know where I'm going to be.
Well, when you saw New Orleans got the number 1 pick, you didn't think for a second, oh, I could be in New Orleans?
It's definitely a possibility, but, I mean, it's not sure until it actually happens.
Have you ever been before?
I've never been.
Let's talk through your game and what potentially it could bring to whatever team you end up with.
It's my will to win, and whatever that team needs me to do, I'm going to be able to do it.
And we saw a guy named, Anthony Davis be picked by New Orleans with the number 1 overall pick. How does your game maybe compare to his and the ability that he had to make a difference in the league?
Definitely the versatility, the ability to block shots and rebound, and I think just want to win.
All right, well, Zion wants to win. He's still a little nervous, though, guys, but he knows potentially where he could end up now that New Orleans has the number 1 pick.
And it's funny, you guys were talking about this year's draft class. As you say, there seems to be a little bit of a drop after number 3. But we just showed Steph Curry. He was not expected to be a 2-time MVP. There are players later in this draft who can make an impact.
There are. Jarrett Culver is a kid from Texas Tech. He's a great wing. Coby White, like Jay mentioned at the beginning of the show, from North Carolina. Also a guy, Darius Garland. Now, he didn't play this year for Vanderbilt, but he's one of the top guards in the country, and his ability to shoot, defend, and he's a speedster with the ball, kind of like Ja Morant. He's a special type player.
The difference is this draft is not as deep with top-flight talent. There are going to be some second-round talents in most drafts that are going to go in the first round this year, and usually it's the opposite. You have first-round talents that wind up in the second round.
It is going to be so good. A lot of draft coverage over the next month. Next up, the NBA Draft Combine is going to be Thursday and Friday. That's going to be on ESPN2. And then, of course, the NBA Draft live from Brooklyn on Thursday, June 20th. That is it from us in Chicago. Zion Williamson is probably headed to the New Orleans Pelicans. Let's send it to Oakland for Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals.